Dear students, in our last video we have solved 3 problems based upon the current electricity. If you want the previous 3 problems, then you can go through the first video, and if you want you can refer the link which is provided in this video. Here we are considering the remaining 3 or 4 problems in this particular video. See, let us consider the 4th problem now. It states that a wire of resistance 5 ohm is drawn out so that its length is increased by twice its original length. Calculate the new resistance of the wire. Dear students, the problem appears to be very simple, but by solving this particular problem we will get the knowledge about a very fine relationship which is found between the resistance and length of the wire. Okay, so already we know that the resistance of any conductor, it depends upon its physical factors also. It depends upon its length as well as it depends upon its area of cross section. So if any wire is there, okay, if it is drawn, it means if it is stretched so that its length increases, right, then simultaneously its area of cross section decreases, isn't it? So just to imagine this thing, if a wire is given to you, if you could able to stretch it or draw it into a wire of increased length, then as the length of the wire increases, its area of cross section goes on decreases. Okay, so as these two factors change, as the length increases as well as the area of cross section decreases, there will be change in the resistance of the wire. So here in that particular situation we have to calculate the new resistance of the wire, right? So for this we need some basic informations. The very first thing what we need is what is the relationship between resistance and length of the wire as well as area of cross section. So we know that R is equal to rho L divided by A, where L is the length of the wire and A is the area of cross section. Okay, but directly we cannot make any change here, or I cannot consider only the resistance and length according to the given problem. No. Okay, so I have to modify this formula in terms of only resistance and length by eliminating this area of cross section. Okay, then how to do that particular work? For that I need some help of the basic knowledge. Basically we know that density of any material, okay, it is constant. So if a wire is there, it may be made up of copper or aluminium or silver, its density will be same, and density is related with mass and volume, isn't it? So therefore here we can consider what is the mass of the wire. So mass is calculated using the formula, that is density into volume. Okay, hence we can say the same thing as M is equal to density. Density of the material is, if I represent it as say small d, and volume is represented as capital V, right? Then what is the formula for volume? See, volume is nothing but area of cross section into length. Okay, if a wire is there, then if it is a cylindrical wire, cylindrical wire, just if I draw it like this, then see, what is the volume of this cylindrical wire? It is given by area of cross section into its height or its length. Therefore here V is nothing but A into L. Hence if I modify this for mass, then what happens here? If I substitute this equation, suppose this is equation 2 and this is 3, if I substitute 3 in 2, then I get M is equal to density into area into length. And if I make a small change and modify it for area, then A is equal to M divided by density into length. Now assume that this is equation number 4. If this equation number 4 is substituted in equation 1, substitute equation 4 in 1, then we get R is equal to, see, observe this, rho L divided by, instead of A I write M divided by density into length. Or it can also be written as R is equal to, see, rho L into density into length divided by M. Or R can be written as rho into density into length square divided by M. Yes. Now we got the equation of resistance, which is in terms of length. See, in terms of length. See, observe here, rho is nothing but the resistivity of the material. D is density of the material. M is mass per unit volume. Correct. M is mass per unit volume. Therefore, all these things for a particular material of the wire, they are constants. Okay, they are constants. Therefore, instead of these 3 terms, I can write K into L square. Or it can be written as resistance is directly proportional to length square. A very, very important relationship what we have obtained. Okay. So, dear students, if the same problem is asked in the examination, then you need not solve all these steps, or you need not consider all these factors. Directly you can go for R is directly proportional to length square. See, even in case of CET or NEET questions, see, this step or this information will help you to solve the problem directly. Okay, that will reduce the time. Very quickly you can able to find the answer. Is it clear? So here we got one very important relationship between resistance and length of the wire. Using this relationship only, we are going to solve the problem now. Right? So up to this is whatever I have discussed, it is for the purpose of your knowledge. Okay. Now the actual solution begins. Right. See, here they mention that there is a wire of resistance 5 ohm and its initial length. So if I take the initial length as L, okay, then see, when it is stretched, when length increases, then the new length will be L dash will be equal to 2 times of L. Okay, then see, when the length increases, what will be the resistance of the wire? That is our question. So I call it as R dash. R dash is the new resistance of the wire. Now let us make use of the relationship what we have, that is R is directly proportional to L square. So we know that R is directly proportional to L square, and R dash is directly proportional to L dash square. Yes, it is directly proportional to L dash square. Therefore, I get one relationship, that is R dash divided by R. If I divide these two equations from LHS as well as from RHS, then it will be L dash square divided by L square. Okay, so now I want the new resistance, so R dash is equal to R into L dash divided by L whole square. Yes, dear students, what is R? R is nothing but 5 ohm. And what is L dash? It is 2L divided by L whole square. Right? So from both numerator and denominator, L is cancelled. Then R dash is nothing but 5 into 4, or the new resistance of the wire is 20 ohm. Okay? So from this we come to know that resistance of the wire increases. Definitely it increases. Why? Because the length is increasing and the area of cross section is decreasing. Hence, definitely the resistance must increase. Okay? See, when the similar type of question is asked in the CET or NEET or even in your theory exam for 2 marks, then just you have to solve this part. Okay, the part what I am marking here. Yes, so this part is to be solved. You don't worry about this remaining part. Okay, don't worry about it. It is, see, I explained it only for the purpose of your knowledge. Okay, students, let us solve the second problem of this video. Here they say that a copper wire is stretched to make it 0.2% longer. What is percentage change in the resistance? See, this problem is different from the previous problem what we have solved. There the change in the length was specific. It was in terms of meter or in terms of centimeter only. But here the change is expressed in terms of percentage. So it must be very carefully handled. Okay, see what they say. They say that a copper wire is stretched to make it 0.2% longer. So if L is the initial length of the wire, okay, then in that length 0.2% increase is made. Okay, then the new length L dash, if L dash is the new length of the wire, then it can be written as old length plus 0.2% of old length. Okay, so 0.2% of the old length of the wire has to be added to the old length, isn't it? Therefore it can be written as L plus 0.2 divided by 100 into again L. Right, if you simplify this, see what we get. If 100 is considered as the LCM, then it will be 100L plus 0.2L. Okay, so altogether it will be 100.2L divided by 100, or we can adjust the decimal point and we can say that it is 1.002L. Hence we got the relationship between the new length and the old length of the wire. Okay, we got one relationship. After this the work becomes very easy because we know the relationship between the resistance and the length. Okay, if R is the old resistance, okay, and R dash is the new resistance, right? Then what change will occur in the resistance? Okay, how much change will occur in the resistance? That we have to calculate first. For that, again we have to make use of the relationship, that is R is directly proportional to L square, isn't it? So based on this, I can write as R dash divided by R is nothing but L dash square divided by L. If I want the new resistance R dash, then it is R into, see, L dash value is 1.002 into L. So you can call it as 1 and substitute this value here. So it will be 1.002 into L whole square divided by L square. Dear students, here square is applicable to both 1.002 and L. Therefore, square of 1.002 is 1.004 and L square is as it is. Then in the denominator also L square is taken. Now L square is cancelled. What we get? We got one relationship, that is R dash is equal to 1.004 into R. See, this is the relationship which is present between new resistance and the old resistance, right? Now they have not asked the old or new resistance, okay? They didn't ask the new resistance, but they have asked you what percentage change in the resistance has occurred, right? What percentage change? Be careful here. Therefore, first we have to calculate the change in resistance. Change in resistance. So which can be given by R dash minus R. So change in resistance can be given as R dash minus R, which is nothing but 1.004 R minus R, isn't it? So how much will be the change in resistance? It is 0.004 R. Okay. Yes. Now what is the percentage change in resistance? Percentage change in resistance. Yes. It is given by, see, it is given by one simple formula, that is 0.004 into R divided by R into 100. Therefore, R is cancelled, and when 100 is multiplied, it will be adjusted for 2 decimal places. Hence, the answer will be 0.4%. So, therefore, 0.4% is the percentage change in the resistance of the wire when it is stretched by 0.2%. Okay. Hope you got the solution. Dear students, let us consider the next problem. Here, a uniform copper wire is of length 3 meter and cross-sectional area 3 into 10 raised to minus 7 meter square, carries a current of 1 ampere. If about 5 into 10 raised to 30 electrons are present in 1 meter cube of copper, find its drift velocity and time taken for the drift. So dear students, here this problem is based upon the drift velocity. Okay, so let us have a small review of what is drift velocity. See, drift velocity is nothing but the average velocity with which the electrons drift from negative terminal of the conductor to positive terminal. Okay, so in the calculation of drift velocity, so many factors will arrive. So many factors are necessary to calculate the drift velocity. So first let us identify what are the factors given in the problem, and based on that we can see what formula has to be used for that and how it has to be solved. Okay, so let us start. Here First let us write the given things. See, they have given that there is a copper wire of length 3 meter. So I consider L is 3 meter, and cross sectional area, that is A, it is 3 into 10 raised to minus 7 meter square, and it carries a current of 1 ampere. So I consider I as 1 ampere, and number of electrons per meter cube, that is electron density, what we say. So that is, usually we know that it is in the theoretical study we learned that it is represented by N, and it is 5 into 10 raised to 30 electrons per meter cube of the conductor. Okay, so 4 factors are given. Based on these 4 factors, first we have to find what is the drift velocity, which is represented by Vd, and the time taken for the electrons to drift from negative terminal to positive terminal of the conductor. Okay, so like this we have to find Vd and T. I hope you got all the given information clear, and also I think the aim and objective of this problem is very clear to all of you. Okay, now we know one very well-known formula, and even we have derived it during the theoretical class. See, that is I is equal to N into E A into Vd. Okay, so that is the formula related to the current flowing through the conductor. Okay, whenever any EMF or potential difference is connected across any conductor, then the strength of the current can be calculated using this formula. And here we come to know that the current depends upon the drift velocity. Okay, because number of electrons per meter cube of the material, it is fixed, and charge of the electron is fixed, area of cross section for any conductor is fixed. So only changing factor is the drift velocity. Okay, hence using this formula only we can able to very easily find what is the drift velocity, which can be written as Vd is equal to I divided by Ne into A. Okay, so dear students, observe here. Here we know what is area of cross section, we know what is the current, we know the number of electrons per meter cube, that is electron density or charge density, and we know even what is the charge of one electron. So based on these things, simply we can calculate what is the drift velocity. Okay, now let us substitute the things. Vd is equal to, see, I is 1 ampere, so it is 1 divided by N, number of electrons or number of charges, that is 5 into 10 raised to 30. Okay, charge of one electron, it is a well-known thing, 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb, and one more factor is there, that is area of cross section, that is 3 into 10 raised to minus 7. Okay, so we have substituted all the factors. Now observe, numerator we don't make any change. In the denominator, see, 5 into 3, 5 into 3 is 15, 15 into 1.6. So if you multiply 15 and 1.6, you get to 24. So therefore it is 24 into 10 raised to 30. See, minus 19 and minus 7. So both are added together, then it will become 26. So it is 30 minus 26. Right. Now it can be written as 1 divided by 24 into 10 raised to 4. Now when you make the modifications and when you make all the calculations, so 1 divided by 24 is 0.0416 into 10 raised to 4 will become 10 raised to minus 4. Or it can also be written as, see, if I shift this decimal point by 2 places, then the power will increase, hence it can be written as 4.16 into 10 raised to minus 6 meter per second. Okay, as it is the velocity, So we have to express it in terms of meter per second. The next thing to be calculated, that is time taken for the drift. Okay, second factor. So already first factor has been calculated. Now the second factor. So time taken. See, time taken can be identified with the help of one well-known formula. That is, time is equal to distance traveled divided by velocity. Okay, a well-known formula which is studied, which we consider under the mechanics. Okay, so the same formula can be used here. Hence, time taken, time of drift can be written as T is equal to, see, it is total distance. It is nothing but the length of the conductor, and velocity, it is nothing but the drift velocity. Okay, so the total distance is nothing but length of the conductor, because the electrons have to travel from one end of the conductor to another end of the conductor. So entire length of the conductor becomes the distance traveled by the electrons, right? And they travel with an average velocity of Vd. Hence we consider the Vd. Substitute the values here. L is nothing but it is 3 meter, and drift velocity is 4.16 into 10 raised to minus 6 meter per second. So when 3 is divided by 4.16, it will come out as 0.721 into 10 raised to 6 second. Okay, as it is the time. So therefore the time taken for the drift is around 0.721 into 10 raised to 6. If you want, you can express it in terms of some other value, like T is equal to, if you shift it for 3 decimal places, then 721 into 10 raised to 3 second. Yes, so we can write the answer in this way also. Okay, so hope you got the solution of this problem clear. Okay, so dear students, now let us consider the next problem. See, what is the drift velocity of electrons in a silver wire of length 1 meter having cross-sectional area 3.14 into 10 raised to minus 6 meters square and carrying a current of 10 ampere? Given atomic weight of the silver is 108, density of the material is 10.5 into 10 raised to 3 kg per meter cube. Charge of electron is, of course we know this, 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb, and the average number of electrons per kg of atom is 6.023 into 10 raised to 26. Okay, so actually this number is taken from the Avogadro number. Okay, recall what is Avogadro number. It is 6.023 into 10 raised to 23 per gram of substance. Remember, dear students, here it is not per gram of substance, it is per kg, right? Hence here 10 raised to 26 is taken. So don't get confused by this value, right? Yes. Now see, what are the given things? Here we have to calculate the drift velocity, right? But in the previous problem, see, all the informations regarding the drift velocity were there. Simply we used the formula and we calculated it. But let us see what happens here, right? So here 1 meter is the length of the wire and it is having the cross-sectional area. So let us first note down the given information. See, length is 1 meter, length of the wire, and area of cross-section is 3.14 into 10 raised to minus 6 meter square, and carrying a current, it means I is equal to 10 ampere. Then atomic weight is given. Okay, atomic weight is given, so it is 108. Then density is given. Okay, density, it is 10.5 into 10 raised to 3 kg per meter cube. Okay, that is the density. Then charge of the electron, it is E, 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb, and average number of electrons, right? So that is 6.023 into 10 raised to 26 per kg of the substance. Okay, it is not per gram, it is per kg. So these are all the given informations, and here we have to calculate the drift velocity. We need to find what is drift velocity. That is our aim and objective of the problem. To make use of the formula of drift velocity, we need to know what is the number of electrons per meter cube of the substance. Okay, without this we cannot find the drift velocity. So our first aim will be to find the number of electrons per meter cube of the substance. In the previous problem it was clearly given, right? That's why we used it directly. But in this problem it is not clearly given. It is hidden somewhere. So we have to bring it out. Then what is this number of electrons per meter cube of the substance? Yes, it is given by a formula, that is N is equal to the average number, okay, the average number, or even you can call it as Avogadro number, divided by its atomic weight into its density. Okay, so this is the formula which is used to find the number of electrons per meter cube of the substance. Okay, now let us substitute the values here. It is 6.023 into 10 raised to 26, right, whole divided by atomic weight is 108 into the density of the material is given 10.5 into 10 raised to 3 kg per meter cube, right? So now you multiply both numerators, 6.023 and 10.5 have to be multiplied. It is 63.24 divided by 108 into, see, it is 10 raised to 26 plus 3, okay, according to the laws of exponents, right? So 63.24, it is divided by 108 and the value will be 0.585 or 55 into 10 raised to 29. So these many number of electrons will be present per meter cube of the material, or even you can express it in terms of the whole number also. It is left to you. Now once we get the n value, then we can make use of the formula related to drift velocity. We know that the current due to the drift velocity of the electrons, it is represented by NEA into VD. So therefore drift velocity VD is I divided by NEA, N into E into A. Now you substitute the values. See, I is the current which is given as 10 ampere here. So it is 10 divided by number of electrons, already we have calculated it. So substitute that 0.5855, instead of that you can write it as 586 into 10 raised to 29. Then charge of the electron 1.6 into 10 raised to 19 minus 19 into the area of cross section. It is 3.14 into 10 raised to minus 6. Okay, so I don't. Now when we multiply the numbers present in the denominator and when we apply the laws of exponents, we get drift velocity is equal to 10 divided by 2.94 into 10 raised to 29 minus 26. So if you divide 10 by 2.96, then it will be, see, 3.378 in divided by 10 raised to 4, or it can be written as 3.378 into 10 raised to minus 4. Yes, that is the drift velocity, hence its unit is meter per second, right? If you want, you can express it in terms of some other value also, but if you you stop at this stage, then also it is more than sufficient. Okay, so like this we find the drift velocity using some very special concepts like the density of the material or Avogadro's number, right? So this problem may be helpful in understanding some other problems also. Hope you got this.